Okay, before we get started, hold on, Rod. This is like a family reunion, and if you're a warrior, you know exactly what I mean. And even if you are not a warrior, you're feeling the energy right now. And I just want us all to please thank Rod for everything he has done. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Rod having a vision, right? And so it's so amazing. But it is 7 o'clock at night right now, 10 o'clock for you Easterners, and some of you are feeling so amped up because look at you, you're still here, and I am totally impressed with everyone. Like, your stamina is phenomenal, so can you give yourself a round of applause, please? Now, over the last 2 days, you have been drinking through not a garden hose, you have been drinking through a freaking fire hose and ingesting copious amounts of amazing information. But that information is all mechanics, and it is a foundation. And so, I like cocktails. Does anybody else like cocktails? Okay, yeah, right? Okay, you can all buy me around in the bar, okay? So, all that to say, I'm going to throw a twist, and I'm going to say I want to be the lemon twist in the cocktail this evening as we wrap things up to say, let's look beyond the mechanics. Let's look well beyond the mechanics. I'm wondering if you could tell me, where were you on September 11th? No, you don't have to answer that, but instantly, boom, your mind went someplace. You can tell me who you were with, you can tell me where you were at, and I bet you can even tell me what the next couple of weeks look like. It's a very memorable experience. What about January of 2020? Some of you and I became friends in January of 2020, and at that time, I made one of the most significant decisions that changed the trajectory of my life. I joined the Warrior Program.
Yeah, baby!
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. The reason why I went down here and took what I call the Holly Family Circus, which means traveling with your husband and 2 children, down to LA was because I faced limitations. And maybe you face some limitations. I happen to live in a really, really small town. My town has 1 stoplight. Raise your hand if you have 1 stoplight or less in your town. Yes, around, okay? There's small town people. I do not have McDonald's, I don't have Taco Bell, I don't have Burger King, I don't have fast food in my town, okay? So, super tiny town. And here I was, new to apartment syndication. And to get to a meetup group, after working all day as a public school educator, I didn't get home until 2 in the morning. Now, can you imagine sending your kids to school to a teacher who, like drive herself in at 2 in the morning? None of us want to do that. Okay, so I didn't have that proximity to the meetup groups, and I was struggling. But here's the thing, you face limitations too. Limitations aren't unique to me, and these are just mine. But maybe you face a physical limitation, because that's real. There are all sorts of physical limitations we can have. Maybe you have some people that are what I call naysayers in your life. Oh, you're doing that real estate thing? Yeah, have fun with that. Did you see interest rates? And maybe you're just being sucked and just depleted by your current job. We all have our own challenges. One that I like is, I just need more education. And maybe if I get an MBA, I will be better at everything in life. Okay? Right. I heard the chuckle, right, because we know more education is not the solution. And that's exactly what drove me to LA boot camp in 2020. Happened to be the final boot camp leading into the pandemic. Joining that, I was able to surround myself with the most incredible who's. If you've read the book, Who Not How, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, please make sure you read it or listen to it. It's powerful. And when I joined the Warrior Program, I now have a community of like-minded people. You see, all of you are here because there was something that drew you here. You wanted something more. And the coolest part about it is that you believe that there's something more within you. You're attracted here. So now I have a community of people. I have a mentor. Mentors matter, y'all. And I have this thing called a high performance coach. I say it like that because at the time, I had no idea what role that would play in my life. Has anybody seen the new Top Gun movie, Maverick? Okay, yeah, y'all, it's like my family favorite now. And I want to talk about mentors, and I'm actually going to use Maverick because it really influenced my family recently. And this is what mentors do, and this is very much understating what my most extraordinary mentor did for me. You see, our mentors, in this case, in that movie, if you haven't seen it, I am going to give you a spoiler, but this is what mentors do, so it's not really a spoiler. Maverick was guiding this mission. He had a tight timeline that he had to have everybody trained and ready. And they weren't getting ready, and they were failing and floundering.
No.
Oh, don't worry.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh no, you know I'm positive. You know I'm not going to leave it there. And their mentor saw that. Maverick saw that. And instead of, oh, you're floundering or something, you know what he did? He filled in that gap. He saw their need. And most importantly, he paved the way before them. He actually flew this super technical mission that was, life-threatening, right? I mean, it was simulated, so he wasn't going to die. But the moment that he did that, all the other pilots were able to follow him. Now, I would like to know, does anybody want to have somebody that they can follow and not have to face all the potholes along? Right. I have a mentor. When I joined the program, I gained a mentor that was light years beyond. But the best part about it was that we're opposites. I have like this huge heart and lots of passion, this huge vision, and it's like, not kumbaya, I'm not going to go that far. But, my mentor saw that and called me and put me in check, but not in a way that would debilitate me. It was a way that empowered me to run the mission. Because of that, I was able to run a lot of cool missions. Super cool. In addition to having a mentor, I needed something else. I had desire within me. I knew that there was something more to give. And that's where, remember I said, high performance coach? I had no exposure before. By the way, all of those things behind and so many more of this image are amazing, super cool things that I've been able to do because of this magical combination of a mentor and a high performance coach. You see, you have everything you need within you. That's why you are here. You have a desire, you know you have the ability, you just don't know how. For me, I didn't know how do I release this vision. I feel it within me. I know I have this huge contribution to give to the world. How do I release that so that I can serve the world? So if some of you are using those new Amazon garden hoses that coil all nice and neat, well, I don't. I still have the old-fashioned garden hose like in this picture, and they get kinked up, and you have to straighten them out. And every time I think about what my high-performance coach did for me, I think of a garden hose. I have the water, and I live on 10 acres with a super powerful well, and that water, when I turn it on, will gush out. But if there's a kink in the hose, what's going to happen? That's right. No water's going to come. It's going to be barely a trickle. Working with my high-performance coach, you would think, oh my gosh, it's like therapy. I'm going to have to take like forever to see any results. Working with my high-performance coach collapsed those timelines. It allowed my vision to flow freely and unkinked everything that was in me. It was absolutely amazing I'm here. I would not have been here if I didn't do the work that I did then. Because of this combination, you want to know practically, like, hey, Julie, yeah, that's all nice. Gold star.
I thought you were doing a case study. And listen, this sounds like I'm playing this with a sales pitch. Please know that's not the case. I actually thought you were doing a case study. But I hope you're getting value. She's a beautiful human being. So get into the freaking money now, please.
Well, yeah, here's money, and here's what happens. 68 units in Atlanta, Georgia.
Boom.
120 units in Des Moines, Iowa. 184 ground-up developments in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But the best part of all of this is that every single thing on that screen has one of my warrior fingerprints on it. None of this was done outside of my community. Every bit of this was done because I was empowered by others.
Can you feel her incredible energy? Can you just feel it? By the way, she has a podcast, and it is an award-winning podcast. What's it called?
Well, can I share that story real fast?
Okay, please.
Okay, thanks, Rod. Originally, my story was called, my podcast, which is also a story, it was called Ask Me How I Know. Why is up there? Have you guys heard that phrase, Ask Me How I Know? Yeah, you know what? I want to share a story. You see Rod up here contributing all of his energy, all of his experience, all of his knowledge, and you see people up here on stage. Guess what? They're real people who really care. And when I reached out to Rod to say, hey Rod, can I borrow your catchphrase for the title of my podcast? Do you think he shot me down? He could have. He's Rod Khleif, come on. No, the email back to me was, wow, I'm something along these lines. I probably have it printed off on my wall. And it says, you know what, I'd be honored if you did that. Can you imagine receiving an email like that as somebody in the starting blocks? I'd be honored. Not only that, how can I support you, Julie? Would you like me to be a guest on your podcast? By the way, he's been a guest twice, and the most recent episode is on, hey, what's the market look like? The Warrior Program empowered me to do so much, from the podcast with nearly 300 episodes to supporting fellow warriors with the book club. So these are questions I asked myself, because my husband and I filled out this card, and Rod did not put me up to this, but this was the best decision I ever made, and the scariest decision to invest in myself.
Let me add something. I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but you know how I roll. This was a very, this is going to be hard to believe. I'm not going to say shy, but just not that, you don't see what you see here. It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful to see this. Sorry, I'm going to just keep going.
Oh, thank you, Rod. No, because there's been a transformation since 2020. And you've probably read these questions, but the most important question I asked myself was, because we have a crocodile brain that goes to scarcity and it goes into fear, right? I went into this question that says, what if investing in myself meets or exceeds my expectations? Now, standing here, do you think that I'm exceeding my own expectations? Heck yeah! These are critical questions. Yes, all the mechanics matter. And yes, understanding, I mean, like, oh my gosh, so much invaluable information has been poured into all of us over the last 2 days. But none of that matters if we don't ask ourselves these questions. And so, in 2020, I was a dreamer. And yeah, that's a picture. I don't know, have I aged? Rob, we haven't aged at all. And
just look at the pictures outside.
In 2020, I was a dreamer. I had a vision. I didn't have access to it. I didn't know how. And now in 2022, I'm a doer, accomplishing the vision that I had within me. Because I have the community. I have support around me, from being able to tap into a mentor to being able to work with my high performance coach. But the most important question, out of everybody on stage here, it doesn't matter, like we matter, but what matters most is you. Like, what does this mean for you? So the question is, where are you going to be 2 years from now? Who cares about a recession? Who cares about whatever? Nobody has a crystal ball. So where are you going to choose to be? Because it is your choice. I'm going to speak for everybody who's been on stage. We're all humans. And so everybody who's been on stage, make sure that you connect up with us. Make sure that you come and say hi. Because This is a community that pours back and invests in each other. And with that, I'd like to say thank you because you guys are absolute rock stars. And if you'd like to connect up, I would love to connect with you. Please go ahead and copy any of that information down.
You know, I was like, oh God, I told him it was a case study, and she's doing all this mindset stuff, and it sounds like a sales pitch. I'm like, oh, you don't need that right now. But you know what? What she went through was more important than the freaking case study, honestly. You know, keep tapping into what she tapped into. She's a beautiful soul. I won't get all gushy again if I'm not careful.